Welcome back to the podcast. I kind of screwed up my dates a little bit here. This was supposed to come out today, but I had a release of my episode with Zach from Waypoint TV. I set that to publish, but I set it to publish, I don't know if my months were off or I was looking at the wrong calendar or what, so I had that published on Saturday, but it should have gone out on June 1st. So kind of messed that up a little bit, but so I'm kind of doing an in-between episode here, so 204, but it's really not 204 because 204 is the one with Zach, which will be re-released tomorrow, which is June 1st, which is the beginning of my affiliation with Waypoint TV, which is really exciting. I'm super excited to be part of that. You go to waypointtv.com, you can kind of check out and see what they're all about. They got streaming videos and shows, and my podcast will be added to that, which is really sweet. I told my buddy Harrison about this, and he called me a sellout, which is funny. And I said, well, dude, you're the one who's on a sheep hunt show. And he said, yeah, and that's a good point. It made me think today as I was going for a run, exercising, just that difference between what we expect and what actually happens. And sometimes we kind of paint ourselves into corners, and no one is immune to like some level of hypocrisy. And sometimes what we mistake opportunities for just like money. We look back at things that we at opportunities that we had, and we made the decision to do certain things. But if we look back even further, we would have never guessed that we would have made that decision. When I was in high school, I said I'd never be a high school English teacher. Just no way, absolutely not. And here I am. When I left Klawak after high school, I said, well, I'm never going to live in Alaska again, and I was fine with that. And then here I am again, living in Alaska. So I think we make these determinations about what things are going to be, and then opportunities present themselves, and you look at those opportunities, and you're like, dude, this is sweet. This might be different than what I expected, or different than what I had planned, or maybe even different than something that I said earlier. But it's really cool to have opportunities, and it's kind of the return on investment. You turn that time and that effort into something, and it brings opportunities, right? That's just kind of the whole point, right? You do something, you create something, and then you're not really sure where it's going to lead, and it can lead to opportunities that you didn't think that were possible, and so it just happens. That's life, and I think that's what this is going to be, and I'm really excited. So for the next year, I'll be affiliated with Waypoint TV, and we'll see where that goes. As far as content's going to be all the same, but I am excited to maybe broaden the reach a little bit. Right now, they don't have any shows about Alaska by Alaskans, so it'll be really nice to kind of be that voice and provide that, and then talk to more Alaskans on the podcast, and then kind of get the lower 48 people just an idea again about what it's like to be up here. And that was the point from the beginning, was to have a podcast that was kind of a snapshot of what it's like to live here, whether that be Fairbanks or whether that be Anchorage area or Southeast or wherever it is. Just talk to people who are living it and have so much more insight than someone who comes up and gets a snapshot. But then also to include people who are coming up for the snapshot. What did they think when they were on their hunt? And it was the hunt of a lifetime, and they came up here. They're excited. I'd love to talk to people about that, and then obviously going other places too. And there's some stuff in here about Wyoming, which has been great. So I'm really excited that I followed through. I was looking at some of my older episodes, and man, they were just terrible. And I'm sure there were times when the sound was bad, and I thought, why am I even doing this? This sucks. I should just quit. But 200 and some episodes in, and now we're at the point where, I don't know, maybe this is the payoff. It's a payoff. I don't know. But either way, pretty excited about this opportunity, and we'll see where it leads. That was kind of the point, I guess. Accidental point. When I started the podcast, I didn't think, hey, I want to be a part of a larger collective. It was kind of in the back of my mind, but I don't know. I just kind of do what I'm doing, and then if the opportunity presents itself, then go with it. So Zach reached out to me, and we talked, about it in the podcast. My initial response was kind of, well, is this like a Wayne's World situation where, Wayne and Garth have a show that people like, and then someone comes in to exploit it. Not to say that, I'm Wayne or Garth, but just that idea that as soon as you get corporate, something something bad goes or happens. But I think that distrust comes from some level of experience, but also, I think there's a lot of good opportunities and good. Think about every band that you've heard of that you like. At some point, they went from a nobody band that people followed, and then they got big and they grew, and you would not even know they existed if they didn't take those sort of opportunities. And so behind every successful anything, there's someone who's like, oh, sellouts, I remember them before they were big. So not that this is me being big or anything, but it's just that same sort of idea that, you do what you do, and then at some point you get an opportunity. Zach and I were talking to the podcast about that, and I mentioned my buddy Danny, who's one of the founders of Caffeine and Kilos. And I remember Danny mostly as a high school PE teacher. And I go to his class and he'd be just talking to the kids, yelling at the kids. It's just a fun environment. So the context in which I know Danny, he was a teacher making a huge impact and a wrestling coach. And then just taking advantage of opportunities. And now, he hasn't taught in, 5-6 years. So it's just change, and it's just the way it is. So I'm excited to be doing this, be doing the same thing, I guess. I don't think there's going to be much change, bigger audience, but keep talking to people and keep doing the thing. So I'm excited about that. I don't how many times have I said excited? Gosh, I think I said excited all the time. I also overuse the word crazy, and what else? I think there's I say a lot as well, but I just said it again.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
It happens. It happens. But here we are. So this was the episode that was supposed to kind of announce what's going on before the first episode with Waypoint, with Zach, which will be on the first. It's kind of messed that up. But so here it is, a kind of in-between episode, a lost episode, a special episode, a grateful for the opportunity episode, a repetition of the word opportunity episode, and want to thank I get serious here for a second. It's Memorial Day, and I remember my brother was coming back from I think it was his first deployment from Iraq or second deployment, and went down there to see him down in, it wasn't Camp Pendleton. He was in Camp Pendleton first, and that's where he was, first out of medical school. But out at 29 Palms is where they were dropped off, and just remember seeing the buses and waiting for the buses, and then seeing on the fence there was a couple signs for the Marines who were not coming home, who'd been killed in action, and just such it's a moment that so many people don't get to experience when you see people coming home. And I was just a brother of a doctor who was coming home, and then you have the families. There were signs for today I meet my dad for the first time, and then of course for the names of the people who perished. It's just so unbelievably touching, powerful, sad, tragic. So happy to see my brother again. It's just I don't know. Yeah. So I was thinking about that today on Memorial Day, and I think it's at least for one day, just set aside like what, just focus on the families, the people who lost people, and the people who did the sacrifice, and never mind the politics. Just save that for tomorrow, but people are just coming out with politics stuff, and we'll lose, and you feel like you can say it better, or you can do this, or you have some other sort of insight, or you're, from behind your screen or behind your phone, you're going to make some sort of comment. Just shut up for a day, let Memorial Day speak for itself. It's really odd to say like Happy Memorial Day too, because it's not really. It's Memorial Day. You're remembering. So the people who are willing to do that, even though they know that what comes along with that is going to be ridicule, and what's going to come along with that is political whatever, but people who are willing to do that, and like regardless of your politics, I think the people who have the courage to be able to do that, I think it's something that we should absolutely pay homage to that, and remember the people who we have lost, and going forward, just remember that all that happened so that we can have, a freedom to disagree, and the consequences of disagreeing with someone tomorrow are not dire. We like to over dramatize stuff, and we like to use war metaphors, or sports metaphors, but like tomorrow you can make whatever comment you want for the most part on the internet, and that's because we've had people who've been willing to preserve that freedom and our ability to do that, our ability to be angry at people, our ability to yell at people, our ability to just be whatever you want to be. So there it is. So thank you for all who have served. I know there's a difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day, and it's important to notice the distinction there. So just the gratefulness that I have to live in this country, that through everything we've been able to preserve what we have, and the people who are willing to be the ones on the front lines, and probably knew at some point that they might not make it home. That level of courage and that level of service is something that we should all really appreciate today. So we'll call that this episode. Thanks again for listening, and we will talk to you tomorrow.